Okay, let me just be sure we're good. I think we're good. In this episode of Madhouse, we speak to Mukasa, the founder and team lead of Tessa Advisory Services, based here in Kampala. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, great.
Cool. Welcome to the podcast, Madhouse. So the thing is simple. I think I just get straight into it. Just tell us who you are. I guess for those who don't know who you are, ideally what you do. Yeah, just like break it down for people and get us excited. Yeah.
Okay. I'll start with who I am.
Yes.
My name is Mukasa.
Cool.
I am the founder and team lead at Tessa Advisory Services.
Yeah.
I am a Christian. I'm a mother. I am a businesswoman. I am multifaceted.
Yeah.
So I'm not one thing or the other thing. I
Okay.
keep jumping back and forth.
Okay.
I love adventure and I love business and I like systems and I love serving people and I love good energy.
Okay.
I love doing things differently, especially in this space in Uganda.
Okay.
That's just kind of a bit of who I am, yeah.
Cool. So I'm very interested in like how Tessa. Because I think I saw Tessa like maybe a year ago, and I was like, I think you had like one post, and I was like, it's very interesting. But I was like, what's really going on here? I mean, like when I saw the description on the Instagram page, I was like, yo, this is some like gangster stuff here. But then I was like, not much happening as much then.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe it's one of those Instagram people.
Yeah.
Like, and then I mean, you know how people like have like that stuff, entrepreneur, model,
Yes.
mother.
Yeah,
like,
all those kinds of...
And then like you kind of look at the feed and you're like...
And you're like, that doesn't communicate what you just said up there in your bio.
Yeah, so...
That's interesting actually that you mentioned that. Two things. One, I'm not a social media marketing person.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that there's an audience out there and there are parts of your life that you have to kind of extract and share with them so that they get to know you better.
Okay.
I was always previously a private person, though very open and very vulnerable to the people in my life.
Okay.
But now putting everything online, I realize I have to share that with people. Like I'm a mother, so some pictures of that. What does it actually mean? What are the challenges? I'm a businesswoman. What does that actually mean?
Yeah.
And then also the other thing is in terms of not having enough early attraction.
Yeah.
I had this revolutionary idea that micro and small and some medium enterprises in Uganda need BDS, so they need business development services. Yeah. So you need to partner with them. Some people, it's just like one guy or one lady, and they have a revolutionary idea with national impact. Yeah. But we use a traditional model where it's I meet Gabriel, strategize, plan, coordinate, and implement with him. Yeah. So many things were happening. Again, it was so hard to extract what we're doing and put it on social media. Yeah. So there was a huge gap. Okay.
So it was like a mix of like I'm very busy and I don't really get it as much then. I mean, I understand it. But when I had seen the page like a year ago, I was like, this is very interesting. And then when I started seeing like stuff you're doing, I was like, this is quite cool. Like this is something we should get. We should get on the podcast and like catch up properly.
Great.
Yeah. So how did Tessa start? Like that's what I'm very interested in. Like just tell us the story of Tessa in like.
So Tessa, many of businesses, when you hear about them, the business itself is very much entrenched in the entrepreneur themselves. And even though we in BDS like to encourage them to be separate entities, there's still parts of you in it. It's literally your baby, as you've heard very many people say. Yeah. So Tessa, the name, was actually... what's the right word? My mom came up with it.
Okay, cool.
Because I explained that I want to plan with businesses, I want to discuss with businesses, I want to grow with businesses, I want to agree with businesses. So she was like Tessa, like Tutese, like kutesa.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it. Like you got all of that, and then just like negotiate, discuss, plan, like do
that
stuff,
would be a
like
boring name if it was in English,
right?
Like negotiate advisor.
So a lot of people thought that it was Tessa, like my name. Maybe I'm called Tessa, but it's Tessa, and our hashtag is Tutese. And it just grew from there. And I've been helping businesses started multiple businesses myself, set up many of family businesses, friends' businesses, other people's businesses, tried and failed, and grew certain businesses over the past 10 years, which feels crazy to say. So from like my early 20s, I've been growing businesses in Uganda, and it's been exceptionally fun. I also studied business. So I did business enterprise at the University of Buckingham, which is essentially learning how to set up, structure, align, grow, scale a micro to medium enterprise. I also started an app company that won an award whilst I was at uni.
Nice.
So there's that. All of the things kind of came together around the time my daughter was born. You hear a lot of people talking about, I had a child, so I had to step up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really describe what's happening. Yeah. Something inside of you is pushing and you don't know what it is. So like if you are avoiding these dreams you had, or like you and I were speaking earlier and you were like, we had these people on board and they said, this idea was so radical. Yeah. Whatever you've been thinking that has been leading to you to what you're supposed to do in this life, I don't know what it is, but when you have a child, it's pushing you. So that's how Tessa came about. I was working in civil service, and then I realized I have to do what I have to do, no matter what. So that's just how Tessa came about. It wasn't that hard to start because I had already built this community of people around me who know that I do business development services. And so set up Tessa, registered it, and then just structured all of them into formal clients. Brought up my bag of templates and businessy things and my drive to execute anything that I believe in, and then we got Tessa.
That's just like I went like a whole other direction and said businessy things. She now just sounds like a magician right now.
Yeah, like, literally. Sometimes you feel like that. I'm sure you feel like that with your kind of work. Like, this is bomb, Gabrielle. Like. To figure out that you could do something and solve someone's issue, kind of like magic. Yeah.
That's cool. So that's how Tessa began. So how long has Tessa been really doing stuff?
I think 20 months now. Okay. So like Tessa, the company, 20 months. Okay. So I explained how we started with the traditional model, which happens with a lot of Ugandan entrepreneurs. Yeah. People in general, but Ugandan entrepreneurs, because it's a market which has so many gaps and so much room to do stuff. Yeah. But then at the same time, youth are being told that thing that you want to start, it's great, but people are kind of not ready for it, or people are not going online, or just all sorts of reasons why you shouldn't do this thing. Yeah. But then you're thinking that this is the gap that I want to fill because no one is doing it. So we started with the traditional model. Like I said, I knew someone needs to work with entrepreneurs, not just the incubators, not just the accelerators to start, but continue to handhold them to achieve dynamic things. Yeah. But we did it how everyone else was doing it for the first 15 months. Yeah. We decided to partner with you and come and implement with you as part of your enterprise. Okay. Not really innovative, because that's how consultants across the world here do it. Yeah. But one of the things that we realized is the impact was so low. Like by our first 18 months, we had 13 clients, which sounds great, but we want to impact thousands of entrepreneurs across Uganda. Okay. And so we only just started to do what we have always wanted to do, which is get these tools, these BDS, this support, coaching, consultancy, and put everything online. Nice. Yeah.
Nice. I think you're future-proofing yourself. Just like, it's coming. You're just like, hey, internet's going to get cheap. Yeah. I don't know. I hope someone from UCC listens.
Tools are going to be accessible from Gulu. Tools are going to be accessible from Kiriandongo. Bomb things are going to happen from Bale. Like, that's where we're going, and that's where we need to be going. And so someone has to build these things, even if we feel like the market is not ready. Yeah. And that's what I want to encourage everyone to do. So not only Tessa should be doing it, Gabrielle should be doing it, Creative Asylum should be doing it. Everyone must be future-proofing, as you call it, creating content for where we're going to go, not where we are now. Yeah.
True. Very true. We agree with you in like so many ways. We have some ideas in our little top secret lab.
Yay.
That may arrive.
May or will?
Some may, some will. Some it's like it's using the idea and you're like, I think now we've just like joined Cartoon Network land. Like this is a bit.
I would rather you just put them out. Do the extreme things.
This is a bit too much.
This podcast actually can be like our business development session because I sit with entrepreneurs like you and I say, Gabrielle, just do it. Get all of those things out of the secret lab. Put them out there. Doesn't matter. You're going to find your people. Put them there. I come with a lot of energy. You kind of have to be ready.
Yeah, that's fine. I like the energy. We need that kind of energy in this podcast. Like it's kind of like mellow energy, just kick you out. Just be like, come back when you're like, oh, here's a Red Bull.
Yeah,
Red Bull. You've had like that's an ad right
literally
there, like for this podcast. Like, Anyway, so I'm very interested. Like, I mean, since the Madhouse, this is a Creative Asylum podcast, and like we've always been very fascinated with like process. Mm-hmm. And in process, for me, I'm very interested like in failure. Mm-hmm. That's like the biggest thing I'm very interested in. And so I wanted to know in like your 20 months of starting Tesla and trying to help other businesses kind of grow, what, like just one story or like one thing that you really like epically failed at, and then how you sort of like, you know what I mean, like just sort of like adjusted to like this sort of fail, the epic fail. Because like for us as a Creative Asylum, we believe like creativity is like sort of a process, but we also think like a lot of people when they tell the story, it's too romantic for me. I'm just like, what? You woke up, you had this idea, made a film, won 2 awards, and now you're a rock star. I'm like, I mean, especially like if it's a filmmaker or whatever kind of creative you're in, and as we started the conversation, I was like, you know what? I think let's also ask more people about like
their
failures, because I think it's important for people to kind of feel, to kind of know that hey, it's not like uphill or I mean, and you'll always fall, but like how did like
it's not like a straight uphill trajectory.
Yeah, like
you could be moving uphill, but
but bumps. I'm saying like, especially that you're in the business kind of world of things, there's a lot of like, last time you said the elusive deal. Yes, the elusive deal that feels like like when people say elusive deal, it all comes down also to the culture of like perception of like when you're a business person, you always have money, you're always growing, and then you're like, that's not real life. Like, hey, that's not how it works. I know I have a business, but like, we didn't have work for like past 5 months. Now what do we do? But like, I just want to share from a Tesla perspective where.
From a Tesla perspective, I love this question because the failure is what helped us iterate. Okay. One of our massive failures, and I don't know if you guys experience this, when you enter into a space as a new player, I think we all really felt like, even with my advisors who are really experienced, just because we are coming all on board under Tesla, we all really felt like we're onto something, we have to prove ourselves. Okay. Now that is great in terms of work ethic. Yeah. But what actually happens is you go and pitch, close business, and then you go over and above what you're supposed to do. Okay. Now, typically in business school or in books, they say, go over above, shoot the extra mile. Yeah. But for things that are your responsibility, if you start to, even in life, you know, do things that are other people's responsibility, then a problem comes. Yeah. So what we did is we pitched all these kinds of things. And I remember I went into this one really big client, our biggest client actually ever, and his marketing coordinator came after and said, "You've pitched a lot of stuff." But it wasn't like, "You've pitched a lot of stuff, yay." It was like, "You've pitched a lot of stuff." And she was kind of concerned that you guys are trying to give too much, or you guys are trying to prove a lot. That actually came into, I don't know what the right word is, like, but pass. A few months down the line, where we achieved our initial milestones, and now the entrepreneurs were expecting us to do more than we had agreed. More than we had agreed for less pay, but then also just take on responsibility. And we were seated in the office thinking, this is not our business. We're here to support. We're here to hold your hand. We're here to give you the systems. We're here to implement some short-term activities. But it's your business. So as the proprietor of the business, the primary responsibility is yours. So that was the beginning of a lot of conflict and tension. It was also the beginning of a lot of drain, burnout.
Okay, I understand.
Misunderstanding between us and the client, because they feel like, if you can do this, why don't you just do it?
Yeah.
And we feel like we've gotten some good initial traction, but the responsibility is yours, leading us to where we are now. So we handhold, we support, but up to a certain point. We give you the tools, but it's up to you to implement. And therefore, the long-term growth and scale of the business is able to be sustained because the entrepreneur is doing it, not we are doing it. So yeah, that was a massive hurdle to overcome and even understand.
That's nice. You guys are like real gangsters at Tesla.
Thank you.
I should just come and hang out and just be like, hey,
you should.
What's up? I'm just here to observe. Don't mind me. I'm like a furniture. But that's cool. And so is this the reason why you sort of started adjusting to like the module system? Was it one of those kind of clever moves of like, hey, I think we're doing too much?
Yeah, I think it's that we're doing too much, which we don't have a problem with, but also if we continue to, it's like with a baby. Yeah. If we continue to give you everything, then you fail to learn how to be independent on your own. Yeah. And that's a line all consultants, whether online or physical or traditional, have to draw. Yeah. I know a lot of huge conglomerates, massive companies that like to perpetuate this kind of system. So all the tools, we keep them closely to our heart. All the strategies, we keep them closely, and we don't share them with you so that you have to pay us millions of dollars to continuously come until you die. Do you see what I mean? So you always need our team for business development. You always need our team to close a big project, but that is really limiting, totally unfair and draining. No one is actually benefiting. Even this company that's trying to get a lot of money because you need more resources, more tools, you need to be able to expand, and of course the entrepreneur themselves loses out.
For entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Thank God entrepreneurship is not about like making a lot of money. I wish that's the thing I want to take on. I mean, there's this idea that I've been walking around of like in the creative space of like, hey, just create because you want to create, and then like things like money and other things are like the second factor to what you want to do. And I wanted to know from a business perspective, is it the same idea of like you want to solve a problem first, and then the return is things like growth and money, or is it, hey, I walked in here to make some money, this other thing is because it's something that you've just mentioned earlier, and I'm like wondering if it's only working for creative people, or especially those in the creative arts kind of space, or it also works from a business kind of perspective where the approach should be, I don't know, but what do you think, and what's your...
I think that sometimes we limit ourselves by putting things in boxes. So we don't have to do one thing and then do another thing. You can do three things simultaneously. Thankfully, I'm not asking entrepreneurs or you to do three things simultaneously. I just want you to do two things simultaneously. So create, because that's the primary thing that you do where you serve. So serve first, doing what it is that you do that's bomb. And simultaneously charge the value that you feel it's worth. Not that I think that it's worth, which a lot of business schools tell you, or business books. And I wanted to be able to go to business school, get a first class, which I did, be at the top of my year, which I did, and be able to say, nope, I don't want to do that. And now what I tell businesses is serve first. So do your thing, the creative thing, bomb, and then charge the value that you feel. Because you're creating for me something. But you have a much better idea.
So I should send an invoice after this podcast.
You should. You should.
Like, hey,
here's the invoice. You should have sent it before and I should have paid. Because getting someone else in the service is just like, But then for all the things that you do, I really want entrepreneurs and the creatives that listen to this podcast to really understand that. Charge the value for what you feel it's worth. You know what it means to shoot a podcast, prepare for it, plan for it, edit it. I don't know, all the other things involved. And then the long-term value to me. So not the immediate value, but the long-term. So I would say it's that. I also wouldn't say it the other way around, which is go out and look for money. It's so draining. It's really, really draining and also confusing, and kind of like, you're looking for money doing what? So I really want to encourage people to just do those two things simultaneously. Offer value, get value at the same time.
And then it just is boom. Now
yes.
I'm going to, new word in this podcast.
Yeah.
The guys just be like, why is Gabby's in bomb for like this whole season of like I just be like, I just learned a new word.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I want to know where is Tessa going. Like I'm now very interested. Like having this conversation here, I'm just like very excited to see like what crazy are you guys up to.
So the website is our home.
Okay. Yeah. Pretty cool.
We want to thank you. We want to, people are now more and more, because we're online, asking what does Tessa do? And what I say is that we work with entrepreneurs to give them tools. And so our website is the home of tools. And we recognize that we have to be sustainable as a business, so people have to pay. Yeah. But we must have impact. So we must serve exactly like I'm telling people to do. Okay. So that means that there is a section of our site which has free content. Sure. It will always have free content for as long as Tessa exists, even if I die. Yeah.
You know that principle? Jab, right hook?
No.
Give, ask.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
It's a Gary Vee thing. But cool. But that, I feel like that's what you guys are doing, which is pretty cool.
Oh, great. I didn't even know it, but yeah.
Give value, and then when the time is right, ask. So, I saw the module 1. I haven't done anything, but the way, I was just having fun on the site. Okay. Just saying, is it fast? Does it respond? As I say, it says. Yeah, those kind of things. But
So the module was 1.
Yes.
The vlog and podcast is 1. Each vlog and podcast episode is going to come up with 1 tool.
Oh, cool.
The resource library is like my baby. Every single strategy tool, whatever, we're going to throw on there. So even just by the end of 2020, we're going to have hundreds of tools on there that you can implement really, really, really easy. I don't know if you follow us, but we have that strategy session that we just did for the business module competition.
The thing with the ladies with
the baby thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So we sat with them for over 4 hours, and we did customer acquisition lists. They thought that they only had maybe 2 customers that they could pitch to. Okay. What they knew is that they really wanted to do that, what you're calling the baby thing, which is an online store.
I watched the video and I was like, okay, baby.
Yeah, so they listed, we only wanted them to list 13 customers that they would start with. They listed 23, and they're certain, all of them they're going to close. We did their business model, we did their limiting beliefs and comebacks, so getting them into the right mindset. Cool. We did strategy planning and coordination for the first 30, first 60, first 90 days. Yeah. All of that stuff is on the site, Gabrielle. It's free, you can have your business model, it's just, and so the course really just goes into it in very specific detail. Yeah. And of course, we're dealing with creative asylum. So there's business coaching, there's consulting, there's that extra thing.
Yeah.
But otherwise, all of the things are on the site. So that's where we're going, where we want to really just go across the country, literally with podcasts like these, and even physically, because that's in the works, and just telling people you can get these tools, implement the things which you're supposed to implement now.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's really nice. And so I wanted to know, what's the process of putting together these tools?
Some of it is experience. Okay. Some of it is my academic background. Okay. Some of it is, remember that time, and I'm talking to my team, I'm like, remember that time that we did that thing with those people? What exactly did we do? Yeah. And they're like, oh, you remember we first went and got this, and we got this, and I'm like, can we make it into a template? Okay. Can we make it into a template that's 1 page? Yeah. Where someone goes through everything that we did for a business, and then they can just do it for themselves. Okay. Do you know you can get all the tools from our site and be a business development person? You can do what we do for your business and for other businesses. Yeah. It's fun and it's not that hard. You say, you're not convinced, but you can. No, don't mind my laid back Yanis. My laid back Yanis is generally just I'm just okay. It's not my thing. Okay. I can't say I'm hey, that's why I say it like that, but I'm very intrigued. Okay. I think I just need to do some more homework. Yeah, if you did, I would love to know. In the space of business development, I don't really know much about it. If you tell me about camera gear, we can go for the whole day. Okay. But I don't know much about that. So, sorry to interrupt you, but that's what I would love to change. I would love for you to know about camera game and to know about creative stuff, and then also business development stuff, and just be no, I know that stuff. Did it for my business, can do it for other creators.
True. Yes, that's why I'm very interested. Like in like I know. I mean. I guess the conversation that will happen after this. I guess, but like, it's very for me. It's just I was very fascinated with what you guys were doing, and I was like, you know what? Let me just like put my toes in the water a bit and just like really before I start swimming.
Wonderful.
In like business development, like lingo, and like just like understanding it, and then seeing how it sort of relates to like the creative asylum community, and like and seeing how like creative people, especially young creatives who we hang out with a lot, can sort of like really benefit from understanding your perspective of things. And then okay, just that you've just mentioned, I mean, now that you've shown, so all the processes you're saying are really like experienced and like a remix of a lot of other things like that. And usually, what's the timeline usually to making like a template? Let's say like this kind of modules. I'm very sorry. I'm asking. I love like process things. I like to know like how guys really turn around these kind of things.
I love the word remix.
Yeah,
like a remix of all of those things, because it really is that. Sometimes it's like spur of the moment, so you get the idea, the broad framework, because we use a lot of frameworks, and then refine it. So refining is really, really easy, because you just put in the detail, you put in, if it's a checklist, a guideline, a workbook, a reporting template, research, whatever.
Cool.
So the frame is the hard part, because it's like, what is the entrepreneur supposed to extract as a result by doing this?
I guess.
So for businesses or whatever. So sometimes it's spur of the moment. Sometimes it's a brainstorm session. So we have these board of advisor meetings quarterly, or sometimes more frequently, like now when we're going through a major transition. And with the rest of the junior consultants. And people are just talking, and then we're like, that's crazy. And then frame. So like then we just list all of the ideas, put them in a frame, and then after that it's really, really easy. So sometimes it takes longer. But I also find that it takes longer when we're not understanding what the entrepreneur wants. It's easier when we remember what we felt like, what the entrepreneur felt like, and how to get them on the other side. Then it's like, we know what they want. We know what we can.
Okay, cool. That's nice. So there's something you said earlier, and I'm like, she has to share how she's born like this. How do you have a board of advisories and yet that small?
Wonderful. I'm glad you brought that up. So
because when people say that, it's usually like, hey, you're like NSSF or like MTN.
Oh, I'm so glad that you brought that up. A board of advisors is just a fancy word for these people that you ask stuff.
Okay.
How many people do you ask for advice? You know, the camera is not working, the audio stuff is... So how many of those do you call? You. I'm now interviewing you.
Like
in a week for all of the creative stuff that you do, including this podcast.
Maybe like one person or two.
One person
or two. Ideally, it depends on the problem at hand, but like usually like one or two people will be.
In your mind right now, do you have a person who you would call for camera issues?
Yeah.
Do you have a person who you'd call for audio issues to do with this podcast?
Yeah.
Do you have a person who you'd call for events like Artfeld and all of the great things you're doing, partnering with them? Or a person at Artfeld itself?
That one, no. That one, we just like wing it.
You just wing it?
Just like, hey,
but why aren't those two people, the camera people, the podcast person, your board of advisors? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a great structure to show that you have corporate governance when you're coming to TESA, maybe to help you get funding for Creative Asylum. It shows that there are a group of people who are experienced in a wide variety of things, who you go to continuously or on some consistent basis. It can be once a quarter, so once every 3 months, to advise you. And you come together when your business is either going to do something big or something major, or there's a challenge, and they are just invaluable. Also, it's free. I mean, most of them will come and say, you know what, Gabrielle, we see all what you've been doing, since uni days or whatever, and we just want to support. And by having two, they'll naturally say, Gabby, there's this other guy who you should talk to. And then it can go out of hand. I don't expect anyone to have more than 6, because then everyone wants to talk, and then you're not really extracting anything. But like from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, 5.
You've said not more than 6.
Okay, 5. Because sometimes it's
advisory board of 15, guys.
Okay, Oh, that's a disaster. That's bad. Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Let's say 5. Let's settle on the number 5. 5 is just good enough. Plus you. And then as management, and then you will trickle it down to the rest of your team. Or if there's someone between you and your team, then that's... Yeah, but having a board of advisors is great. It's something that you need to have from the very beginning. It's something that we had before we closed a single client.
Nice.
And I really, really want to encourage, especially micro business. So you are the skill, you are the person, but there are all these other people. It helps with structuring, it helps with access to funding.
Okay. Some of these people know some people.
Yes, it also helps with reputability. So it's a good way for you to work with people and like, I know my thing. I know I'm a creative. I know I'm this. But I have these board of advisors. So you bank on their reputability in order to be able to open more doors. It's just winning for everyone.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then if you win, they look good.
They look good, and they're on the board of this and this and that, and they're advising this small company, and they're advising, and look what they did. Look what they did. So, yeah.
That's very interesting. It seems on WhatsApp making phone calls. Hi.
You ask good questions.
Hi.
I'm glad you're pulling out all of these things that I'm saying and making me explain them.
That's cool. I know, sorry, I was just like listening, just like trying to pick in a few things, and I was like, wait, you said advisory, like that feels very fancy. I'm like, cool. Like, how is she pulling that off?
Yeah, but can you see that you already have yours? You just don't call them that.
Yeah, I just don't.
You just don't call them that.
I might even have fancier people, I think, in my circle, and I
see.
It's just that I don't think. I think at the moment, I can see the need when the need will arise for such a clever, like symbiotic sort of relationship with those kind of people, and I'm glad you shared it. Kind of like opened my eye, and I hope people listen and be like, BSD
so too.
Business development
services.
Yeah, BDS.
Yeah.
101 in the Silent Podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to change this podcast now. It's not going to go Madhouse. It's going to be called something else. Yeah.
Cool.
And so that's cool. So where is I wanted to know something very interesting about like Tessa.
Yes.
This idea of I saw that elusive deal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I want to know how Tessa is dealing with like the market, especially Africa, Uganda, that whole space. Like, how are you dealing with it? Like, this is still part of our conversation of like the future of Tessa, but like I'm really interested in how you guys are sort of, especially where you sort of have to teach a new idea.
Yes.
To people. That is not really like whether it's a cultural thing that people kind of think of things in a certain way, or I don't know, but like how is Tessa sort of navigating the space of culture and perception around money, business, and these kind of things.
Yes, so very, very interesting. So many things to talk about there. So we didn't choose episode 1 as the elusive Ugandan deal by mistake.
Okay.
It's so ingrained in our culture in Uganda that there's this deal I'm chasing. And we now want people to transition from this deal I'm chasing to what am I supposed to be doing with my life? What's this long-term legacy thing that we're building? Yeah. Which leads us to the business ideation process free module, also not by mistake. Okay. So we don't feel that we can tell people what not to do and then at the same time not give them the tools to do that. Yeah. And so, exactly, very, very important. And so the elusive Ugandan deal, the vlog podcast, is supposed to go hand in hand with the free module, business ideation process that we already released last month. So that if we're telling people, no, just have a think on, if you just have, you have this one life, you have only this set amount of finite time, what are you going to use it for? So stuff like that. So we're giving the tools and we're trying to put everything online, which we feel a lot of people are now slowly transitioning to. Yes. That being said, our market is still, in most people's perspective, not ready. Yeah. And so your question is, how do we navigate that? Yeah. So one of the things that helps so much, which we learned in business school, is something called the diffusion of innovations. Okay. It's a curve, a bell curve, so that looks like a hill. Yeah. And at the very bottom is 2.5% of a group of people called innovators. Okay. So innovators are not like how we think of innovators or entrepreneurs. Innovators are people out there that actually use products and services that are starting for the first time in a space where they're not, in a market, in an industry that they're not, and they don't need anybody else to use it or to try it. Yeah. They just know that they need it. So it's of course typically young people, access to internet, access to data, educated, have disposable income, are able to meet their basic needs and stuff like that. So in any new market, there's 2.5% of those people. Now, from 2.5%, they are early adopters. Those are 13%. So early adopters are people who kind of want to try the new things, but they need to at least know one person, just one person, who has tried it. So they don't need to try it because everyone else is trying it. So what we are focusing on is that 15.5%.
Okay.
And in 1 month, we've got over 300 downloads.
So that's the early adopters and
the innovators.
Okay.
So we've got about 300 downloads
okay.
Of people who have done the business ideation process module, sent us their worksheets, strategy breakfast was a thing in 1 month. Nice. That's a lot of traction, and then DMs and emails and messages. People are still submitting their worksheets, and the competition is over. Yeah. And so our idea is not to really infiltrate the market, work with those couple of hundred. By the time we release the course, work with a couple of thousand, and then for the free tools, and then a couple of hundred for the paid course, and then let them have wide impact. Yeah. That is our focus, not infiltrating the market, because we feel, and we encourage other businesses, this is something we're doing forever, guys. So there's still time. What we don't want to do is wait for 10,000 people in the market to understand it. There are businesses and entrepreneurs hungry for the tools. Many of them have already exchanged their value for value. So have already exchanged their skill or their product for money. But it's like systems, coordination, and how do we make this something big? Like, how do we make this across the country and region? So those people that are ready, those are the ones that we're working with. Nice. And we know we'll reach the rest.
Nice. I told you I'm shifting. I just like camp at Tessa for like a
wonderful
month. I just be like, guys, I'm just don't mind me. I'm just editing the video here.
Yes. And I want to repeat, we want you. We want people like you, like radical ideas, extreme ideas, never been done before. Do them. Let's just do them. Let's just do them.
Like in this room, like the little like devils are just laughing at you. They're like, I wish you knew what radical means when you say radical here. Just like,
do them.
Hey,
just
let's pull out notebook 20. You see this sketch here? It was.
Yes, do it. Let's see.
I mean, flying car.
Yeah, we don't have to refine. We don't have to refine everything.
Yeah, true. You know,
before we put it out, we can put it out, the flying car.
Yes.
Then refine it after and be like, okay, the car can fly, so let's put it back on the ground. But it's there in the market. People are using it. They're seeing it on social media. They're paying for it. It's in, I don't know if it's a comic book. It's in supermarkets, whatever. But let's just do it.
It's an actual flying car.
Yeah, right. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's build a flying car. Yeah. Kira Motors, here we come. Anyway, yeah. I digress. We're going to other things. I mean, we might stay the whole day if we start going.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah, I feel like there's a vibe here. Like if we start conversation, it may not end.
That's true.
And so, I now want to know where is Tessa headed, and like, just to just a great way of like saying this is where we're going. This is what we're trying to do. This is basically a call to action. Yeah, I'm gonna put like very subtle music. I'll just put music. I'm able to put music on podcast, but just to say like.
Right. We really want people to go to the website, which is www.tesa.co.ug, and we want them to engage with the tools on the site. So sign up for the business ideation process module and work out how to integrate your skills, your passions, your interests, your tiny little inklings that are moving you somewhere. Your skills, so what you've taught yourself as well as what you studied, everything. Work out with a worksheet and a module how to put this together to decide what long-term venture. It doesn't have to be a business, can be a project. It can be a social enterprise, it can be an NGO that you're going to start in Uganda to change lives, to have impact. Or maybe that you've already started, but like refine the idea further and just get it out there. So that's what we really, really want people to do. And then navigate the rest of the site and get the other free tools.
Free tools. The more free tools,
the better.
Free is nice. Everyone likes free things. Free. If you like free food, then how about like free like business information? Yeah,
that can change your life and others.
And also, and also it's a bit relevant to the space. I mean, I think that's also the unique thing I find about Tessa.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're in the space, it sort of feels like you sort of like, it's almost like design thinking for the space.
Wow, I love that.
As compared to like, hey, let's get like some cool random guy from like the US or some fancy place to come and tell us about like
what
business.
Worse.
And
don't you hate that? Like get an expatriate to tell
and then it's like, it's like saying let's get, let's say Vusi is African, but still he's from a different market. Like so, like in my head, I'm like, guys, Vusi is from South Africa. That's like a whole different ballgame, like than here. Like so, some ideas I think can cross over, but I'm like, if it was Bitachure teaching the class, I'll be like, yeah, I think I can listen to him. Or, I mean, but I'm saying like the thing is that at least the tools are made by people who are in the space trying to build their business as well.
So
and so
nice.
this from my perspective, it's more like, oh, this is a bit more relevant because if transport gets expensive, you kind of also know it because you've felt it, as compared to like saying, hey, the cost of this and the business, then you're like, hey, do you know how much transport is here? And you have no idea. Or like, hey man, like, hey, and then you're like, do you know how much internet costs, guys? Like, come on, like, but like I feel like the Tessa thing from me just saying well done.
Thank you so much.
It feels like that's the things that's relevant to the space.
Yes.
As compared to like a random thing that you sort of have to like study it so much and then like pick and then kind of cook up your own remix of the thing to fit the space, like, and then you're like, oh, now this works for me based on that information, and then like
what's so nice is exactly what you've said when businesses create for other businesses and other people in their space. So creatives can do that. We encourage all of the Ugandans to do that. Even the ladies of the baby plug, so they're going to create baby proofing accessories from Ugandan raw materials. So I mean that's what makes it special.
Cool. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
I think we're done with this podcast. We're ending it.
Yeah.
But usually all my podcasts, I usually ask the whole guests to, share like, it doesn't have anything to do with like BDS or anything, but just like a life thing that they think the listeners should go away with in case we have bored them the whole time. At least they'll be like, you know what? Those guys bored me, but like at least Paulo said like, this is something I should like, but from, something you'd share. Like a life thing that you think that you feel like they should know, or
a life thing which I feel like your audience should know or that people should know is hinged on what you were asking me about failure. Yeah. So looking at our social media and the site, it seems like from the traditional definitions of success, we're kind of getting some early traction. Yeah. And I get a lot of proud of you messages. Yeah. But I think stepping into your dreams, I want to say, is excruciatingly hard. It's very, very difficult. This is one of the hardest times of my life because it's a massive growth season. I'm way out of my comfort zone, but simultaneously, life has never been so sweet. To do the hard things, so that if we bored everyone, that's what I want everyone to get out of. Okay. So I think media and movies and cartoons and really everything shows that when you step out into your dreams, there's that lovely music, everything is sunny, it's so fun. Look, but that's not how it is in real life. It's really, really, really hard because you're going against the grain, you're going against yourself. Yeah. So I'm only learning that the negative parts of ourselves are not there to attack us, though they're there to protect us from like failure, from rejection, from someone not liking what we said. Yeah. But you have to fight through all that to live your dream. So it's hard, but it's so sweet, and I would really encourage everybody to do the same.
Awesome. And it's a wrap.
Great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hope we got what you wanted.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.